Ah, the Titanic. Just mentioning the name is enough to get Celine Dion stuck in my head for days. Poor Leo freezing in the ocean while both he and Kate could have easily fit on that floating board. The price you pay for love. Since the sinking of the RMS Titanic, and even since James Cameron's record-breaking 1997 film, so much has changed. Yet this legendary ship still captures the world's imagination. Jokes about icebergs and dramatic retellings of that fateful night never seem to fade. But have you ever wondered, what if the Titanic never sank? What if it survived its maiden voyage and was still sailing today? Hello, fellow thinkers and dreamers. Welcome back. Today, we're diving into the question, what if the Titanic were still around today? Before we begin this journey through time, make sure to leave a like and subscribe for more oceanic adventures. Let's start with a quick look back at history. On April 10, 1912, the Titanic set sail from Southampton, heading to New York. At that time, it was the largest passenger ship ever built, over 880 feet long and weighing more than 45,000 tons. By today's standards, that might not sound massive, but back then it was revolutionary. Over 2,000 passengers were on board, thrilled to be part of this historic voyage. The ship was filled with luxury. First class felt more like a floating hotel, and even second and third class were far above what any other ship offered at the time. Everyone believed the Titanic was unsinkable. Famous last words, right? Just a few days later, about 350 miles off the coast of Newfoundland, the Titanic struck an iceberg. Captain Edward Smith ignored warnings about heavy ice and didn't slow the ship. The impact tore open 5 of the ship's 16 watertight compartments, and that was all it took. To make matters worse, there weren't enough lifeboats for everyone on board. Over 1,500 people lost their lives that night in the freezing Atlantic. It wasn't the romantic ending we saw in the movie, but it was unforgettable. Now let's imagine, what if it never happened? What if the Titanic had stayed afloat for more than 100 years? In reality, ships don't last that long. Salt water, storms, and time would have taken their toll. The metal would rust, the wood would rot, and the carpets would crumble to dust. Sure, some parts could be replaced with modern technology, but eventually, you'd reach a point where it's no longer the same ship, a real ship of Theseus dilemma. If the Titanic somehow remained in service until today, it would probably be more of a floating museum than a passenger ship. Shipbuilding has advanced enormously since 1912. Take the Symphony of the Seas, for example, the largest cruise ship in the world. It has an ice skating rink, basketball court, rock climbing walls, and even a central park filled with tropical plants. Compared to that, the Titanic would look like an antique relic. But here's the interesting part. How would history have changed if the Titanic never sank? After its disaster, major safety reforms were introduced. More lifeboats, better routes, stricter regulations. Without the tragedy, those rules might never have existed. That means, years later, another massive ship might have met the same fate. Only bigger, deadlier, and even more devastating. And think about it. Without the Titanic tragedy, there'd be no movie, no legend, no haunting love story between Jack and Rose. Maybe the world would instead remember another doomed vessel. Perhaps the HMS Gigantic or the MSC Bellissima. Who knows? History doesn't like to be rewritten. Every event, even the tragic ones, shaped the world as we know it. Maybe it's best that the Titanic rests where it is, not as a failure, but as a symbol and a lesson. So, what do you think? Would the Titanic have survived a century at sea, or ended up as a museum relic, or scrapped entirely? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. And don't go anywhere. In our next What If, we'll be asking, what if the world suddenly turned upside down?